Welcome to Cause Before Symptom with your host, James Carner.
Tonight we're going to be talking about Zecharia Sitchin. Well, that was last night. Tonight we're going to be talking about alien abductions. Holy crap. I need to get things straightened up over here. Stick around. Oh my God. That was funny. Well, you know, it is a live show. And crap happens. How you guys doing? Today is September 12th, 2024. Tonight's topic is alien abduction. And I hope that after you guys have listened to the show, it will set your mind at ease as to the cause. I'm going to tell you guys what the reasoning is behind all of this and hopefully put it to bed for you so that you understand what the goal is from these abduction phenomena. Now, as you know, I am a big hater of government because absolute power corrupts absolutely. No government is good for their people, never has been, never will be. No matter how many isms or epochs or ethos they go through, it's always going to be the same pile of shit. Same thing with a monarchy. Having a king or queen. Same thing. It all is a pile of shit. And remember what we learned from the learned elders of Zion, the protocols that they wrote, their manifesto on how they're going to take over the world. Well, they were saying that they're going to make us so sick of all of governments that we will turn to anarchy. But what's funny is I don't think that the learned elders of Zion are that smart when it comes to the understanding of anarchy. I think they're saying that this anarchy is a way of people just having no order and it's chaos. And people just shooting each other, running around, stealing from it. No, that's not the kind of anarchy I'm talking about. I'm talking about the anarchy where government doesn't rule the people. Now, if the people in certain sections of where they live and want to live, they decide, small, little, tiny government, but nothing more than paper pushing and dealing with crap. That still is a form of anarchy. As long as you don't put a name behind the city and a flag and saying, this is us, and this is our game plan, or like a corporation where you have a mission statement. By the time you get to that, you are trying to be a society that outdoes everyone else. And history has proven that no society ever lasts. So why bother trying? So when I say anarchy, I'm saying be responsible for yourself. There are no laws. Quit trying to pass laws in order to help people. Because do laws actually help people in the long run? Well, watch Congress as they pass hundreds of laws every month that have pork inside where it takes money and goes to some corporation and never seen again, which I'm hoping you guys will understand that this is a form of control and money laundering, right? But regardless, it's all bullshit. I think we all should just be responsible for ourselves. And if you find a plot of land, declare it yours. Build up walls. Build a moat. And protect your land. Instead of this, let's have the government do it. Where, according to the World Economic Forum, you'll own nothing and be happy. Because the government, they're good at feeding their people, aren't they? Well, look at what they did during Hurricane Katrina. Was the government good at helping the people? No. And they're never going to be. And we need to stop thinking that they will, because it's not going to get better. It never does. They're just going to continue taking and taking and taking, even with Trump in office. I'm sorry to say, but I don't believe in the Trump train anymore. I got off of that a year and a half ago. And I'm glad I did, because now, since I made that decision, I see right through this man. He's a con artist. He's a liar. And he's only doing this because he is a part of the club. And it's a big club, according to George Carlin, and you ain't in it. So we have to understand that the whole world is a fallen system. And with that comes awful things, because awful people are in control. But one thing that you can have control of, and I kid you not, is alien abduction. We're going to get into that tonight. We're actually going to talk about what it is all about. When did it start, etc. So welcome. I want to shout out to Amanda, Texas Militia Graveyard. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for being here. Now, alien abduction refers to the phenomenon of people reporting what they believe to be the real experience of being kidnapped by extraterrestrial beings and subjected to physical and psychological experimentation. People claiming to have been abducted are usually called abductees or experiencers. Well, now, I was watching a movie last night. The movie was called Dark Skies with Kerri Russell. It was all about alien abduction. This family went through a lot. They were being haunted by gray aliens. They met with an alien expert, and he told them the grays start to divide the family and eventually take one of their children. The investigator, played by JK Simmons, says their only defense is to fight the grays, and they may leave them alone and go to another family. This topic, I think, needs to be addressed. And the reason being is because there's two ways of looking at it. One, looking at it from a spiritual point of view, and two, looking at it from a physical point of view, and understanding the difference between both. Now, as far as the spiritual point of view, CE4 Research Group interviewed hundreds of UFO abductees, and the one common denominator between all of them, the one common denominator, is the name Jesus Christ. Now, Christians do get abducted. No joke. The question arises, is this extraterrestrial phenomenon or man-made? Now, you know me, I don't believe in extra outside of terrestrial beings from another planet or another galaxy or another solar system. But I do believe in interdimensional beings, and we're just scratching the surface of what in the hell that is. I have my ideas, I have my opinions. That's quite interesting, this whole thing. I personally have read hundreds, maybe seen thousands and dozens of books that I've read on this real occurrence. It's happening. It is real to the abductee. What I don't believe is that these aliens have come from space. There are many reports from abductees under hypnosis, whom have at first said it was alien in nature, but later, under more work on the patient or under deeper hypnosis, revealed what was planted memories. And when they finally got past the bullshit, they started talking about military clothing, doctors and nurses in white garments, like they're performing some type of surgery. Two episodes ago, on this show, I was talking about parapsychology and Russia's research and how they mastered mind control using machines and mediums and medicine, of course. And our own military could easily abduct us and plant false memories or wipe away memories altogether. But for what purpose? I personally don't believe that Eisenhower met with aliens on an airstrip in 1954 and signed the Grenada Treaty allowing American abductions in exchange for technology. Our own military is most likely abducting people. And if it isn't the military, it is most definitely demonic attacks. So two things are happening here. One, the military is experimenting with our reproductive capabilities, and I believe it's probably for depopulation. We've been talking about depopulation since after World War II, especially right when the baby boom hit. You know about depopulation, I hope. They do this at night while we're asleep, planting alien memories to help solidify the story. This means our own government is working with the devil, basically, to build the alien invasion narrative. That's what I believe. Now back to CE4 Research Group. Joe Jordan is the president and co-founder. He's an alien abduction investigative specialist, and his research team is based out of Cocoa, Florida. Joe has been a Mutual UFO Network, or MUFON, field investigator since 1992. He has shared his research findings from his alien abduction investigations through many radio shows, newspaper, and magazine articles, DVDs, and even lectures. He's been busy. His research findings on alien abductions have been written about in 12 different authored books over the past decades. He has spoken during 6 Roswell UFO festivals in Roswell, New Mexico, including the 60th anniversary conference in 2007. He was also honored to host the Roswell UFO Festival conference for the city of Roswell in 2008. CE4 Research Group has been the investigative arm of alienresistance.org, a clearinghouse website covering the biblical view on the UFO phenomenon. Seeing that there seemed to be a spiritual nature to the alien abduction experience, they posed the question, are Christians being abducted by aliens? Well, I think it's a good question to ask, really. The research showed that some people professing to be Christians were indeed reporting that they had encountered this experience in their lives. The same experience that people of all faiths or no faith had been reporting as well over many years of UFO research. Research polls through the years have shown that upward of 5 million people may have experienced some form of this phenomenon. I think that number is very low, to be honest. This experience has a detrimental effect on people's lives. It is a terrifying experience to those that report it too. Lives have been destroyed. Family relationships have been destroyed. To live with the idea that they cannot control what is happening to them is absolutely devastating. They cannot even ask for help from friends, family, or the medical profession, academia, because of ridicule, which only intensifies their situation. I like the CE4 Research Group. I'm glad they're out there because we really need a Christian perspective on all of this. I believe it. Now, during the investigations that they did into the experiencers' case testimonies, CE4 Research found something really remarkable, and I believe it. They found that some of these Christian alien abduction experiencers had been able to stop or even terminate the experience from their lives. How? The most fascinating finding was that this was even possible. Because the movies make it sound like there's nothing you can do. When they come, you're screwed. And there was a commonality amongst the experiencers in a way that they were able to do this. This is something that the world-leading researchers in this field of investigation publicly say is not possible. But the findings of CE4 Research Group show otherwise. When questioned off record, many of these leading world researchers admit they themselves have come across similar cases. The question arises again. Why have they not shared these findings also? Meaning, how come they haven't gone the religious route? Because most of the aliens that we find out, they don't mix God in with the equation, other than the story of Noah, who was played by Russell, whatever his name, which was a dumb movie. And honestly, the Nephilim weren't rocks. It was such a stupid, dumb movie. Could it be because of what the consequences might be if they did share the phenomena is related to Christianity, related to demons, devils, God? Might it change their preconceived notions of the alien abduction and UFO experience altogether? Is there a hidden agenda that this research actually might expose? I think so. Because the devil doesn't want you to think that aliens are faked. He wants this to be the ultimate deception to get man to worship him as an alien. That's the only way he can pull it off, by tricking you into thinking that he, in the, I guess you could just say, just deformed way of mixing alien or human animal hybrid concoction of something and create something that looks like it's from another world and then have everybody worship it. I believe the same thing happened during the Book of Enoch. I believe the history is repeating itself. And that's the funny thing about CE4 Research is they don't agree with that. But that's okay, because I still think that their work is so absolutely 100% important. So if these are the researchers that we are relying on for the truth, the ones that don't bring up Christianity, why are they not sharing everything with us? When attempting to put together the alien abduction and UFO puzzle, wouldn't you want all of the pieces of the puzzle brought to the table? I believe so. What's up, Edged? Even if the puzzle pieces were to show a different picture than you might have expected, honest research demands that all the pieces are to be included for an honest answer. That means when you're researching, don't have a bias. Everything can be open for debate. You can't close the book on religion just because people hate religion or just because it goes against science. Well, there's no such thing as God. But it seems that the UFO community has closed off God, and they have treated CE4 Research Group, not all of them, but as outcasts. Honest research demands an honest answer. We have attempted to bring this is them, CE4 Research Group, the piece of the puzzle to the table. We have been met with hostile resistance from the research community in this process. If you are honestly seeking answers to this strange phenomenon, please ask yourself, why is this happening? Why can't you see all of the puzzle pieces? Through this website, this is on their website, we hope to be able to give you that unwanted piece of the puzzle. And I'm going to be explaining it tonight too. So please be open to all the research findings. You can't make an honest decision if you don't look at all of the research. That's been done by all researchers. We hope that by viewing the research findings that we've done at CE4 Research Group, that we share with you here, you will be able to make that honest decision. So here's the research they came up with. The hypothesis is Christians are being abducted by aliens. The data says, through compiling networks with over 350 alien abduction experiencers. So CE4 Research Group sat down with 350 people who have been abducted and remember it. Okay? That's a lot of people. Okay? Over the years, they have to be interviewing at least one every other day. There's only 365 days in a year. For them to interview 350, you know how long it would take to gather that many people? Not everyone has been abducted, and not everyone who has is going to come forward. So 350 alien abduction experiencers, I think that is a tremendous work. The findings, some professing Christians are claiming to have experienced the alien abduction experience. And the unexpected outcome of the research is this. Through the research into the case testimonies, it was found that some of the experiencers were able to stop or terminate the experience altogether. There was a recognized commonality in the method that was used among the Christian experiencers. The experience was shown to be able to be stopped or terminated by calling on the name and authority of Jesus Christ. Not as a magic word, but by their allegiance to and personal relationship with him. I believe this. I have to. It's what I'm about. I am a pastor. I'm a Bible thumper. I don't believe in turn or burn, but I do believe that Jesus died for our sin. Least we can do is give him a chance. CE4 Research Group also found that by sharing this information with other experiencers, it could help them stop their experiences. This is called repeatability. The UFO community has been looking for that repeatable event that research demands to verify the data. CE4 Research Group has documented this in their research. There is no other documented repeatable event recorded in any other UFO research at all. Not only has it been shown that the experience can be stopped or terminated in the name and authority of Jesus Christ, but, well, their findings say they're able to help the person stop the experience altogether. So what are the findings? Well, we need to figure out what the cause of someone to have an alien abduction experience. And this is a question that secular researchers do not have an answer for to this day. But CE4 Research Group found through their research that people can have this experience because of one of three reasons or combination of these three reasons. Number one, you asked for it. Ouch. Some people actually ask to have the experience to know what it is like or what it's about. They recommend be careful what you ask for. 2, you unknowingly open a door to the realm of this experience. Some people unknowingly open a door by being involved in New Age or occult activities. When you engage in the unknown things outside of God, the Creator, and His Word, you make yourself vulnerable to these entities. We have found this reason to be the most often found root cause. So, if you've played around with the Ouija board, if you got a hold of a magic spell book for white or black magic and you cast a spell on someone, you opened a door for a supernatural, spiritual warfare on you. And they are able to somehow get in your dreams and make your body manifest bruises, branding, and believe me, your body what your mind thinks. You can manifest things. You can do more than you could ever dream. And if you believe it's really happening when really it was only a dream, you could wake up with marks on your body. I've seen this in the case of the ghostly phenomenon, where we've seen ghost hunters have been scratched while they're just walking around trying to find a ghost, trying to capture it. And it always seems to be 3 lines, which many UFO research or paranormal researchers say is mocking the Trinity. Okay. But you unknowingly open a door to the realm of this experience because you're playing around with voodoo, witchcraft, anything that doesn't have to do with Christianity, which in itself is a religion that teaches you to love your neighbor. And when you cast spells on people, you're not loving your neighbor. You're opening the door to demonic attacks. And number 3, you are part of an ongoing cycle or social conditioning. When asked about the experiencer's parents or early family life, we found that the opening had come from one or more of the parents. It is important how you raise your children. When there is a godly covering over the family by the head of the household, the family is protected. But if there is no godly covering, the family is open to these types of unnatural experiences. And they say they have evidence to back it up. The evidence of their findings is in the testimonies of the experiencers. Over 350 people. They have over 100 posted with permission. Written and audio testimonies with the experiencers themselves. More are coming in as they continue to do this work. But how many does it take for people to see that this is a real event? All you have to do is read and listen to the evidence yourself. Weigh what you read with what you have been told by others. You could have it in the palm of your hands, all of the pieces right there. You could bring it all to the table. You see, the proof is in the data. 350 people that they interviewed, were they all lying? Let's say 90% of them were. Fine. What about the other 10%? You can't discredit that. That has something to it. And 350 people who have experienced this, whatever you want to call it, if at least 10% is real, which I believe it's way more than that, meaning the person isn't making it up, then yeah, we've got something that's happening to people that, according to the CE4 Research Group, can be stopped by using and calling out of the name of Jesus Christ. We are sure, as the CE4, that you will see why this is called the unwanted piece of the UFO puzzle. Oh my God, those crazy Christians. I would agree. Us schizophrenic Christians who talk to ourselves thinking that God lives inside us. Yeah, I get it. But the evidence you read and hear will surely raise many more questions about the alien abduction UFO experience. If you have an open mind, but turn your back on Christianity, then you're not. I would agree with that. I would also want to look into cases with other religions, see if the name of Buddha can stop the aliens from attacking or whatever they are. They're demonic. Or the name of Krishna or the name of Muhammad, which, by the way, why doesn't anybody ever use those names to curse? How come they're always using the name Jesus Christ? I believe because there's no power in those names. But everybody sure curses in the name of Jesus. Even some of my close Christian friends, I witness and listen to them say the Lord's name in vain. Now, the times that I do it, it's when I get scared. And I go, Jesus! And I'm not saying it as in, Jesus help me. It just comes out. I don't know what it means, but it just comes out. Now, is that saying it in vain? Well. I don't mean it in my heart. And I think that's what God looks at. Now, questions and answers. You need to demand from researchers that refuse to allow the pieces of the puzzle to be shared, whether they like what the research shows or not. You can't discredit religion when going into these things, especially if you're going into satanic ritual abuse. If you say, oh, let's not get into the religious side of it, well, then how are these people dying? How are these people getting hurt? Well, this phenomena is happening. It's real. How do we explain it? Well, find all roads. In dealing with the mystery of UFOs, we are not on the lunatic fringe of theology. Instead, we stand on your behalf in the front line of the battle, and that is CE4 Research Group. They are in defensive warfare at a major point of assault on humanity. That was according to Dr. David Allen Lewis, author of UFO End Time Delusion. Now, I have read CE4's data many years ago. In fact, CE4 Research Group has been around since the 90s. Okay? And I've read their data. And I believe in most of what they believe in, too. So I don't believe in certain things, and that's okay. We all have different opinions. We're all raised differently. I just believe that they are a little too on the religious path, and I am kind of, I'm not a legalist. They're legalists, and they see things straight from the Bible and will only go by what the Bible says, and that's fine. And I appreciate that. But and this is a good thing, they take a hard stance on the Bible and stick to the word without exceptions, which I honor that completely. They believe UFO abductions are satanic, spiritual, and also some of it is man-made. But they believe most of it is spiritual attack. They believe this movement is for the great coming deception, where man is going to use this to basically get people to stop believing in God. It's aliens. But they don't believe in the Enochian area, where the sons of God saw the daughters of men, saw their affair. They don't believe in Genesis 6, apparently. But that's okay. I'm just telling you both sides. Remember, I can't just be biased here, because I appreciate their work immensely. They're the only ones that said, I think this is demonic. Now, they also believe in the universe instead of a bubble that I'm leaning on, because God created the waters, and then he created a land, a firmament over it, and then water around the land, and outside of everything is water. So, I got to go with that. Even though it doesn't make sense when I look at a planet through a telescope, sure looks like it's far away, and it is round or spherical, whatever that means. But I don't know how far the firmament goes. Maybe it goes to the end of our solar system. I just don't know. I'm not worried about it. So they continue to stand their ground. I love their work. A fake alien invasion, as I have stated many times in my work, is going to be what fails men's heart in the end of days. Because we do have the technology to create human-animal hybrids to make them look like whatever we want. And this hairless, skinny, 4 foot tall, big head, big eyed, no mouth, no nose, no ears, whatever it is, The Bible talks about them in the end of days. They are frogs. Giant frogs with 3 fingers. Go look it up. Because that is the only way to describe what they were looking at, the prophets, when they saw a vision. They see a vision of aliens, and they're like, there's some big frogs. Because what else are they? You know, back then they weren't going to say, well, they were extraterrestrial entities. No. So CE4 Research stands their ground. And that's great. That's fine by me. And they say it's all spiritual and it's not technological. But I disagree. I believe that the days of Noah are going to repeat. Meaning they don't believe the spiritual sons of God are returning with their Nephilim children. And I do. But Jesus said, just as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. And the Nephilim were there, and so was ancient technology. That's what I believe in. But that's okay. Just like with Zechariah Sitchin. He was saying there was ancient astronauts, and everyone said that he was nuts. I believe him. I just think that, you know, just according to my research and my opinion, he was off in a lot of areas, but still was on to something. A part of the puzzle that I can take and put it into the big picture, and that's great. And same with CE4 Research Group. God bless them. So they don't believe in the spiritual sons of God are returning with their Nephilim children. But Jesus did say, just as in the days of Noah. So I use that as a clue. But their work have proved the name of Jesus Christ stops the nightmares or abductions. Now, as for the military and their abductions, I doubt we can stop them, because you can scream Jesus Christ all you want at a man. They've got free will. They'll do whatever they want. The spiritual world, they have to operate under the honor of honoring Jesus Christ, because they even admit that Jesus is Lord. So Jesus is Lord over them. But nevertheless, CE4 had a major breakthrough in the spiritual side of things and have the answers to make the abductions stop. So what are the abductions? Well, we'll find out after this commercial break. When the Roaring 20s, while everyone was talking about prohibition, Standard Oil quietly changed to modern medicine from plants to synthetics made from crude oil. It sounded harmless because it was just a byproduct of oil, but pharmaceuticals just blew up because oil was cheap and everywhere. Unfortunately, the Depression and the Spanish flu outbreak diverted attention from studying crude oil, synthetics, and the human body, basically to determine if it was safe for consumption. Big Oil was able to suppress such research and build an empire where 95% of all medicine we take now is derived from crude oil. Now, studies have shown that crude oil is not only in medicine, but in our shampoo, deodorants, dishwashing detergents, and water bottles, creating what would appear to be modern diseases that cross the stomach-brain barrier. Diseases that never existed before, like Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, and autism, where scientists have actually found links to synthetic oil, not including geoengineering, where organizations are actually using heavy metals to control the weather that is in our soil and food. I wanted to find a way to reverse those effects of industrialism and turn back time to where oil wasn't a part of our bodies anymore. My team created Elite Potion, a supplemental product that binds to heavy metals and kills parasites that our bodies used to break down and dispose of. Whimsy Worm Wash works to kill microscopic parasites that escape into our bloodstream. Our Nickel Nixer Elixir formula binds to nano-heavy metal particulates and the parasite debris, flushing them out of the body like it used to. Unfortunately, with the fourth industrial revolution coming, humans have to adapt to silicon, oil, and heavy metals in order to merge with machines. And I wanted a product for myself to stop the effects of this, so basically I can live longer and feel better. I've been using it for months now, and I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I have. It works. Try it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. All right, guys, so we are back talking about alien abductions, and we're getting into the part where we're going to talk about what they are. Now, alien abductions refer to reports of individuals being taken by extraterrestrial beings against their will. These accounts often involve strange lights, unusual craft, and enters with beings of non-human appearance. The experiences described by these individuals can be deeply disturbing and often include physical examinations, genetic sampling, or even implanting of devices. You know, I've got this weird thing right behind my ear. It's kind of weird, but it's like this. I don't know. It's always been there. It's kind of like a bump, and it moves around. And I do. Ever since I was a kid, I thought, "Hey, man, that's an implant." Is it, or is it just a little bit of cartilage? Thank God I didn't try to just cut it out myself. While there is no scientific consensus on the validity of alien abduction claims, you know, because academia is like, but even though behind doors they're like, keep denying it, the people will believe it, they're coming. Many of the reported experiences share very common themes. One of them, when you are abducted, it starts off with strange lights, or you're asleep, and you wake up and you have paralysis and loss of control. Abductees often describe feeling paralyzed or unable to move during the encounter. During physical examinations, many report being subjected to medical procedures, including blood tests, physical examinations. Turn your head and cough. And even surgical procedures. Why? And then implants, of course. Some abductees claim to have found strange implants or marks on their bodies after the encounter. They also incur memory loss and disorientation. Many individuals report experiencing memory gaps or feelings of disorientation following the abduction. And then obviously what follows after all this shit is emotional distress. The experience can be deeply traumatic, leading to emotional distress, anxiety, and even post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. I would too. I'm telling you, if I got violated by an anal probe and then shoved back down into my bed, I'm going to be pissed because it did not take me out to steak and buy me dessert. Now, the scientific perspectives on this generally view alien abductions with claims of skepticism. Many experts believe that these experiences can be explained by psychological factors, such as sleep paralysis. That's all it was. Or false memories, or vivid dreams. You're just a dreamer. You're a dreamer. Well, explain this tattoo that says, "Long live aliens." Others suggest that some abductees may be intentionally fabricating or embellishing their stories. Maybe. But out of 350 of them who came out in an honest way and shared their experiences, were they all lying? Alien abduction claims have been reported for centuries, with accounts dating back to ancient civilizations, including Egyptians, Mesopotamia, the Aztecs, to Zecharia Sitchin's theory on the Anunnaki. However, it wasn't until the mid-20th century, after World War II, that these stories gained widespread attention. The popularization of UFO sightings in the 50s and 60s coincided with a surge in abduction reports. There are common themes to alien abductions and narratives. The gray entity, which are 4 feet tall, big eyes, small nose, two slits for a nose and a little slit for a mouth, and basically just slits for ears. They don't have ears. And they're ugly. I mean, I don't find them attractive. Most of them describe them being the gray, small humanoid creature with large eyes and A slender body, real slender, like a kid's body. You know, because these elite are into that kind of shit. The star child concept is some abductees report encountering childlike beings or even giving birth to alien children. Wow. Imagine pushing one of those out. Now, the government is involved, I believe, because it's a reoccurring theme in the involvement of government agencies, often the military, in covering up alien activity and abductions. And many abductees claim to have developed psychic abilities or altered states of consciousness after their experience. Well, is that why I can now remote view? I have no idea. Notable cases in research, well, the Betty and Barney Hill case is the famous one. One of the most interesting abduction cases involves Betty and Barney Hill, a couple who claimed to have been abducted by aliens in 1971 when they were driving their car home from a party. They stuck with their story, never changed it once, all the way until the day they died. The Travis Walton case is the second most popular alien abduction story. Travis Walton, a logger, disappeared in 1975 and claimed to have been abducted by aliens. He came back 2 weeks later, and you would see this in the movie Fire in the Sky. And he has written many books and stuck to his story and hasn't changed it one iota. And the J. Allen Hynek Research Center, Hynek, a renowned astronomer, conducted extensive research on UFO phenomena and alien abduction. So cases and research are happening. And are they all lying? Are they all just finding pseudoscience, crap, bullshit? There's something to it. Something's going on. That's why there is a UFO community. And it is in popular culture and media today, and has been in popular culture and media since the 50s. Alien abduction stories have been popular subjects in movies, television shows, and books. Films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and The X-Files have helped to shape public perception of these mysterious encounters. While the majority of alien abduction reports do not involve pregnancy, which I find bullshit, because this is coming straight from academia, there are a number of cases that have made headlines due to this unusual element. These claims often involve the abduction of women who subsequently report giving birth to alien children. That just came out. Some of the more well-known cases include the Linda Howe case. Howe, a woman from New Hampshire, claimed to have been abducted and impregnated by aliens. They didn't have sex with her, they just shoved some semen in her. She reported giving birth to a child with unusual features, which she believed to be of extraterrestrial origin. I think you saw it in the Sun magazine. My kid is an alien. The Carla Turner case, or Turney case. Turney, a woman from Nevada, also claimed to have been abducted and impregnated. She reported giving birth to a child with unusual physical characteristics and abilities. Now, the Linda Howe case, pretty common. You can look it up, it's easy. But the Carla Turney case, I couldn't find anything on it at all. Neither could AI. But I did find Carla Turner, who wrote a book about alien abductions, because she, like the CE4 Research Group, did a ton of work on it. And we'll talk about her a little bit later. It's important to note that these cases are highly controversial and have been met with skepticism by many. Okay? Academia wants you to go, yeah, I want you to believe in it, but we're not going to admit to it. There is none, zero, zilch, except for a bunch of videos and abduction cases, and tons of eyewitnesses have seen them, etc. But they say there is no scientific evidence to support the claims of alien pregnancy. And many experts believe that these experiences can be explained by psychological factors or other more mundane explanations. Okay, Maybe. Maybe, you know, she had a traumatic life, she got pregnant, and then when the baby came out, it just didn't look like the dude she slept with, and so she says, that's an alien. I don't know. I doubt that's going to get any child support through that claim. Additionally, there are concerns about the potential exploitation of vulnerable individuals. So you got to be nice to them. Well, that goes back to loving your neighbor. If someone tells you and sits you down and gives the trust to you, saying they were abducted by aliens, don't be an asshole. Just listen. Some critics argue that individuals who report alien abductions, particularly those involved in pregnancy, may be seeking attention or may be experiencing mental health issues. You see, the thing is when I was trying to research as much evidence as I could about the pregnancies in aliens, I was getting a lot of flack from AI and from Google and from even Yandex. It seems that they want that one to not be talked about. Seriously. Now, Linda, the woman from New Hampshire, she's probably one of the most well-known figures in the world of alien abduction claims and pregnancies. Her story, which involves being abducted by aliens and giving birth to an alien child, has been the subject of debate and scrutiny. Key points of her story is abductions and impregnation, how claimed to have been abducted multiple occasions. She had multiple, during one of which she was impregnated. Birth of an alien child. She reported giving birth to a child with unusual physical characteristics, which she believed to be of extraterrestrial origin. And publicity and controversy. Her story gained widespread attention and sparked controversy, with many questioning the validity of her claims because her baby didn't really look that alien-like. And government involvement, she claims that the government agencies were aware of it and possibly were involved in the alien abduction phenomenon, like I've been saying. And of course, she has received lots of criticism and skepticism because of the lack of scientific evidence. It's funny how science says, if there's no scientific evidence, then it didn't exist. Kind of like with police, if they can't find a body, there was no murder. Well, with science, air hits your face, you can't see it, but you believe it is air. So you have to have faith that that is air. And where does it come from? Is it oxygen moving, or what the hell is wind? You have to have faith in that. Then you have to have faith in gravity. You're being pulled down. If you throw something up in the air, you know for a fact it's going to come down. That's faith. Same thing with Christianity. So it goes both ways. So lack of scientific evidence, they say, oh, wow, there's nothing to support her claims. And many experts believe that her experiences can be explained by psychological factors or other more mundane explanations. I personally believe it was the military who abducted her, creating and trying to figure out a way to make alien-looking babies, and then train them to fly the Pentagon's anti-aircraft, exotic, cool machines. There was some potential exploitation. Some critics argued that Howe may have been exploiting her situation for personal gain or attention. Doubtful. When you come out and you say, I had an alien baby, there kind of goes the whole career and money, because no one takes you seriously. Most of the people who come forward about alien abductions, etc., or alien pregnancies, or even if they've seen a UFO, they lack credibility in the world. And they stick to the UFO community because the only way to make money is by going to seminars and telling of their story. So I don't buy that at all. And, of course, there's mental health concerns. Well, she's nuts. There's been concerns about Howe's mental health, which some suggesting that her experiences may be related to underlying psychological issues. Well, Fine. Lexi says, Linda, come on. Now, the Dr. Carla Turner case, which this woman was well, let me take a step back. Dr. Carla Turner, the alien abduction investigator who was murdered for exposing the truth about the alien agenda. She found that ETs are master manipulators. Satan is the father of all lies. Master manipulators who use advanced technology to pose as benevolent beings, and that they exploit and manipulate humanity in the most horrible ways unimaginable. Can you imagine a civilization, if there is extraterrestrials, that is so far advanced that they have to come down here and just play with us for fun? What do they get out of this thing? Investigator Carla Turner found out about ETs through her vast research, what they want from us, why they need us, the way they can manipulate the human being as well as the soul of the human being, using advanced technology, and more. Carla Turner was the author of 3 books. One is a very famous one, Into the Fringe. 2, another famous one, was Taken, which was inspired by a television show that went on for 6 months, I believe. And Masquerade of Angels, 1994. Not as popular. Dr. Carla Turner died of fast-acting cancer January 10th, 1996, after being threatened for her work. Stop or else. She was just 48 years old. Since then, several other people involved in UFO investigations have also experienced threats, followed by highly unusual cancers. Carla Turner used to speak at lots of UFO conferences across the United States and abroad. Like Phil Schneider, who killed himself by erotic asphyxia with a catheter, and while he was having his fun with himself, he shot himself in the back of the head. But she had quick, fast-acting cancer. She was widely respected in the UFO community on her research and alien abduction. Carla Turner found that ETs, such as the Greys, reptilians, and insectoids, can masquerade as familiar faces during abductions, such as they can manifest into your mother, or your father, or your uncle, or someone who you loved, or as benevolent beings of light, who pretend to be here in order to guide humanity. That's what we want to do. Yeah. Lexi asks, James, everyone, did you see they issued, I think, was a handbook to all police in the U.S., I believe, on the 7th of September. I was late, so they may have mentioned. A handbook on what? I'm curious. When they don't masquerade as something else, aliens, and show their true form, demons, these beings do everything in their power to make sure that the abductee doesn't remember what happened and what they saw during the abduction event. And using advanced technology from Russia, they wipe the memory of the abduction event from the abductee's mind. Sometimes they also implant false memories of what happened, Russia, into the abductee's mind, so that when the abductee returns to Earth, or back from being underground, not only will they actually look forward to their next meeting, thinking that they are being helped by the aliens, but they will also spread ET propaganda on Earth to convince people that what these beings do to us are acts of benevolence. Now, Aleister Crowley drew a picture of the being that he communicated with that manifested before him, and it looked just like a freaking alien gray with a really nasty, I guess looked like a wizard's coat. It had big collars out like this, lapel. It was just ugly. And had big eyes, little mouth, no ears. I think its name was like Jolt or Tilt or Dick or penile or something like that. I don't know. But it sure looked like one of those phallics. Anyway. So they're here to help us. They're here for acts of benevolence. Lexi says, the police issued handbooks about how to prepare and handle UAP or UFO incident. Yeah, Lexi, they've been handing those out for years. They also handed out to airline pilots and procedures on what to do when they see one. And the procedures are, don't say shit and don't write it down. Period. That's it. If you do write down that you saw it, your career is over. So most pilots, and I've spoke to many of them, most pilots just, they see it, they shut up. That's it. So it's in the interest of the ETs that the abductees tell people that they are part of our soul group, their family, that they are our creators or saviors, that they want to help us evolve, that they are our mentors, that they take care of us. You know, Jesus didn't say anything like that at all. Jesus didn't come and say, I'm part of your soul group. I'm your savior. I'm your creator. I want to help you evolve. I'm your mentor. I want to take care of you. He didn't say anything like that. In fact, there's times where he's like, man, how long do I have to stay with you people? Which explains why some abductees are under the impression that not only were they in good hands, good fingers, during the abduction, but that humanity as a whole is in good hands with the aliens, and that we have nothing to worry about. Right. So that's why they need to abduct us. According to Carla Turner, in reality, it's the exact opposite. I would agree. I like this woman already. Articles published about her findings in UFO magazine state, if you wanted to find 4 words to describe the life of an alien abduction investigator, Carla Turner, PhD, those words might be intrepid human rights activist. A former college instructor who held a doctorate in Old English studies from the University of North Texas, Turner had authored 3 books on the abduction phenomenon, Into the Fringe, Taken, and the Psychic Ted Rice Masquerade of Angels in 1994. She was convinced that the aliens were here not to help us out, but to steal from us the sovereignty of our souls. She wanted to fight back with the same courage that she herself showed when, after a period of struggle, just like Mae Brussel and Ann Livingston, she succumbed to a particularly virulent, fast-acting form of breast cancer on January of 1996 and died quickly. The diminutive scholar, author, and activist who was born in 1947, ironically when the Roswell crash occurred, made her home in Roland, Arkansas, near Bill Clinton. I did not have sex with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I just had her do some other stuff. Had been involved in alien abduction work since 1988. 2 traits she had come to conclude characterized alien behavior, above all, deceitfulness and cruelty. Does that sound like benevolent beings from the planet Zoltar? Or Zeta Reticuli? Or Pleidia? Whatever. Every single time people have an abduction experience, it's not fun and games. It is literally deceitfulness and cruelty. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out, that they are evil. They've got no love in their heart. Oh, we're here to help you. Now bend over. I don't want this. Alien probes. Into the Fringe, she recounted the abduction experiences of herself, her husband Casey, that's not his real name, and several of other members of her family. This was also turned into a movie, too. The family had first become aware of their experiences in 1988. Later, they were able, she had them herself with her family. Later, they were able to recall abduction events going back to their childhoods. The experiencers were uniformly disturbing. In her second book, Taken, published by Masquerade of Angels by her own press, Celt Works in Roland, I think Arkansas, Turner told the stories of 8 female abductees who had contacted her after the publication of her first book. Masquerade of Angels was the biography of Louisiana psychic Ted Rice, who used to channel benevolent entities. Well, remember, when you channel benevolent entities, you are opening up yourself to say, I want to be abducted by aliens. Oh, my God. Don't do it. Then, Ted Rice, becoming aware of his alien abduction experiences, first believed the aliens were benign. Yeah, they're benign. Just like when you practice black magic and you speak to demons and, they start to work with you and say, oh, yes, sir, yes, master, or whatever. And then they all of a sudden turn against you, like they all do. He first believed the aliens were benign, then came to the conclusion that they were no more than remorseless predators. Great. That's all we need are remorseless predators flying around space, pulling us up, raping us, slapping us back into bed, cracking up all the way home to Zoltar. I got it. From beginning to end, Turner had been struck by how contradictory the stories of the aliens were. They would, she averred, say anything they wanted to attain their ends. As the abductees and Taken reported it, the aliens insisted variously that they had come to help us cope with upcoming ecological and environmental disasters and interbreed with us for our own good and theirs and help us evolve. Oh, cuddly wuddly. Take our genetic material to revivify their dying race. Oh, we're dying, but we're assholes, but we're dying. Oh, I want to help. Now bend over. Sometimes they claimed they had outright created us. Other times, that they were genetically altering us for their own good. It just sounds to me like they're the sons of God, and they're getting ready to create their children with earth women, okay? Do you not see this? I see this. Do you not see how history is repeating itself according to 1 Enoch? The sons of God, according to Genesis 6, saw the daughters of men, and if you put it to modern day, took them up into their spacecraft, probed them, and had wives with them. Formed children of them, which were giants in those days, which were very wise and very strong. I see it straight up. It's the most logical explanation for what's going on if you are a modern day Christian today. That's it. It's the only way I can explain it that actually makes sense if you grew up in a cult like I did. Because modern day Christianity is a cult. Oh, I know, that sounds awful. But I'm telling you, I'm listening to the Christian radio almost every day, and the crap that comes out of their mouths is occultish like. You got to worship. We worship an angry God that's angry at our sin. And if we choose his son, where's the love? There's no love there. To me, it's like a cult. Yes, I was part of a cult. I drank the Kool-Aid. I don't regret it one bit because I had to go through that to get the wisdom and knowledge to get to where I am now, which is I'm at peace with my relationship with God one-on-one. You see, I believe the Holy Ghost does live in me. And I believe that I can talk to him anytime I want. And I have a conversation between him and myself every single day. And I'm happy with that relationship because every time I talk to the Holy Ghost, he is good to me. Loving, caring, kind. Doesn't it ever get angry? Cults want you to worship an angry God and pay your penance by repenting, which I believe in, but make sure you get that 10% going to the church because, hey, we've got things to do. We've got food drives. We've got lots of money coming in and out of this place, and we need to make sure that we keep the bills paid and the lights on and the pastor in Mexico every year. All right? We got to give that pastor some breaks. I'm just not your traditional pastor, guys. I'm calling them out on their bullshit, you know? And if they were true Christians, they would go, you got me. Right? You don't want to use a Christianity to exploit, to gain any financial, anything financial, because I don't take money. People try to donate and say, well, can I give to your ministry? I'm like, no, you don't have to. I don't need your money. You see, I'm a tent builder like Paul. Paul built tents. That was his money. He never took tithings from other churches. From what I understand, prove me wrong. I'll repent. But he built tents. He had a company that made tents, and he profited off of that, and he used that money to go out and preach the gospel. I believe once you start a church, you got 4 walls. You get a group of people together. Man, bad shit starts to happen. I know you had good intentions, but I think the best way to spread Christianity is just walking straight. And anybody that runs into you, they see how wonderful of a person you are, and they want to know why you're so happy all the time. And then maybe you might get an opportunity. Maybe you might get an opportunity to share with them what you've experienced. Because it's all about your testimony. It's not about knocking on someone's door saying, turn or burn. In one of the most moving accounts in the annals or annals of alien abductions, Turner tells Ted Rice's story in Masquerade of Angels of how, as an 8-year-old boy, Rice found himself along with his much-beloved grandmother inside a UFO and surrounded by a variety of aliens, including a tall reptoid. The aliens brought out the grandmother's husband, who had been dead for 6 years, and insisted she have sex with him. So aliens are into necrophilia. There ain't nothing like having sex with a dead body, apparently, according to aliens. They're so sick. They're not only just, remorseless and they lie all the time, they also make you have sex with dead bodies. They're into necrophilia, alien agenda. It's about doing all the most disgusting things you can with dead bodies. Oh my God, it's like, can you imagine kind of having that kind of experience? Wow! How humiliating would it be? It's like, yeah, they took me up in their ship and they had me make love to my dead sister. Oh my God. Dude. You need help. Rice found himself along with his much-beloved grandmother. I have to read it again because it's funny. Inside a UFO and surrounded by a variety of aliens, including a tall reptoid, the aliens brought out the grandmother's husband on a stretcher, who had been dead for 6 years, and insisted she have sex with him. Insisted. No, I'm not asking. I insist. Get on top of the corpse. Partway... Love it. Partway through the act, the grandmother metamorphosed into a tall reptoid. Now the reptoid demanded to have sex with Rice. Wow, now it's getting to be the most funkiest circle jerk I've ever heard. The boy in front of an 8-year-old boy, two of all things. The boy's grandmother refused to allow this, even though the aliens insisted she would be dead in 2 days if she did not renege. 2 days later, the grandmother was indeed dead of a massive heart attack. Oh, God. I'm going to throw up. Oh, my God. This is real, man. I mean, can I read that again? Partway through the act, the grandmother metamorphosed into a tall reptoid. Now the reptoid demanded to have sex with Rice. The boy's grandma refused to allow this, even though the aliens insisted she would be dead in 2 days if she did not do it. And 2 days later, the grandmother was dead of a massive heart attack. You can't make this stuff up. The blatant deceit of this incident shaded over into Turner's other area of contention with the aliens. Often they were cruel, inflicting physical and mental pain on the abductees. Oh, man. You poor 8-year-old kid. Mr. Look at Rice. What the fuck is going on, man? Oh, I love this job. Oh my God. They wheel the dude out in a stretcher. He's been dead for 6 years. And then she metamorphoses into some reptoid. Oh, man. Tell you what, the Rice, that guy, he's probably been in many sessions, you know. It's like, oh, my God. Yeah, wow. So that happened. One of the Taken interviewees was so traumatized by her experience of impregnation of a UFO that she could not resume normal sex. Duh. Another suffered a bloody, painful miscarriage, which is not funny, in her own bathroom on account of a pulling action by the aliens. A third victim sustained a spinal injury so severe that her doctor warned her it could prove permanent. And these physical problems were accompanied by the usual emotional trauma of the abductee. Confusion, terror, paranoia, and ambivalence. Wow. Oh, whew. Man, I tell you, that cracked me up. I mean, it was just an orgy of just the worst thing you can do to God's people. The aliens bring it in, you know. They're like, oh, how can we piss off God? Oh, I know. We'll get a reptoid. We'll get a kid. We'll get a dead grandpa. I mean, God's up there just going, oh, stop. Try not to throw up. Oh my God. This is oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So, if abductees often came to believe that the aliens must somehow have some lofty purpose, this was because insisted Turner, they have total control over our minds. That's what I do believe. I think that if we don't have a grounded, deep-rooted connection with Jesus Christ, and we're not taking Christianity serious, meaning we're not talking to God every day. Yeah, dude, this stuff can happen to you, and you call out to Jesus, it'll stop. But they're going to come back until you just commit more so that you get more protection. That's all. I'm not saying, choose Jesus because it's the right thing to do. I'm saying choose Jesus so you can have blessings and protection from the demonic, because it's out there. It's real. They don't like you. And they want to put you in a room with a bunch of aliens, with your dead grandpa, and do weird shit. And it's awful. Yes, I did snort, Lexi, from laughter. I haven't heard that snort in a long time. We all need that for sure. Thank you. Oh my God, that was so funny. I was not expecting to jump into an alien orgy of the most disgusting shit I've ever heard, but it happened. God help me. All right, so they could create virtual reality scenarios as well, these aliens. She was certain of it. So they could create a virtual reality thing in your head. Well, if you're in a vivid dream, they can do whatever they want in it. That is if you have no protection. That is if you played with the Ouija board and you haven't renounced that, even as a Christian. They're going to come after you. There's doors that are open that you haven't closed yet, guys. All of us Christians have to close all of those doors. How you close those doors is a deliverance. You have to fill out a bunch of paperwork, and you have to get with the pastor and go after all of these things that you did in your life that you can remember, and close those doors. That's it. Boot says, so it sounds more like the Queen's Palace, right? It is. These people are sick. People who worship Satan do this stuff. This is what the devil wants. He wants to do the most perverted, horrible thing to hurt people, to hurt God. And that's it, because Satan can't win, so he wants to hurt him. He wants to hurt him and hold him hostage, hold his children hostage, and get his demands, which is what he did before Jesus died on the cross for 4,000 years. Satan held man hostage in hell. And if it wasn't for Abraham's bosom, those who followed Abraham and his God would not be in Abraham's bosom. They would be in hell. But Jesus died and set them all free from that. That's what I believe. He took the keys of hell. Jesus has the keys of hell. The only one responsible for going to hell is you, because you want it. Because Jesus is going to show those keys and say, look, you can go into the pit for 1,000 years till we deal with Satan again. Or you can, come with me. And he says, child, my burden is light, the yoke is easy. Meaning, if you follow me, your heart and my heart become one. And you start to love the things that I love, and I start to love things that you love. And we'll work together. It's not like you have to become a crazy Christian, like what you witness on television, or just if you go to a church. I can't give deliverances just live to people. It's really hard. You've seen, I've tried. I've had phony people come on. But I can give you a one-on-one if you need a deliverance, free of charge. All right, get back to. If abductees often come to believe that the aliens must somehow have some lofty purpose, this was because, insisted Turner, they have total control over our minds. Turner cited many cases pointing to a psychic technology that enabled the aliens to make us do whatever they wanted, or make us see whatever they wanted us to see. I believe Russia perfected this. Prove me wrong. They could create virtual reality scenarios at will. She was certain of it. The abductees took home from their abduction experiences memories, whatever the aliens wanted them to remember, just like Russia can do it. Even what was revived under hypnosis might only be a screen memory, meaning behind that memory is the actual military taking you into an underground facility and doing experiments on you. Turner was profoundly at variance with those who claimed we would see the alien abduction phenomenon as benign, if only we could understand it, but we were not capable of understanding it. Not at all. According to her. The author spelled out in Taken what becomes her credo. In spite of what some prominent abduction theorists tell us about avoiding thinking in terms of good and evil, or positive and negative, when it comes to aliens, this cannot be done, nor should it be. For these women, for my husband and myself, for all abductees, knowing that we have been made part of this agenda, excuse me, ever since I laughed, my voice is messed. and that we have been implanted, trained, and programmed to participate in some future scenario, how can we not ask at what purpose our minds, bodies, and souls will be used? I agree. But also, Satan goes after to steal, kill, and destroy, and confuse. And he's never going to give you the full story. He's just going to do it. Turner entertained at least one comprehensive theory about why the alien abductions took place. At least one group, she suspected, the reptoids, the lizards. Wait, the reptoids? No, those are the praying mantis-looking beings. The reptoids needed to eat our bodies, like the praying mantis eats its male partner's head while they're having sex. Great. Here we go again. You want a honeymoon? Oh, man. Rice had provided her with a chilling account, similar to accounts of an alien abduction during which reptoid aliens actually murdered the psychic. Rice watched this as if disembodied from a distance, then sucked the soul out of his body into a black box. In a short time, they re-released the soul back into a clone of his body, which they had manufactured apparently using organic materials reaped from cattle mutilations. Wow. Wow. Turner believed the reptoids then ate Rice's original body and, in general, need to ingest human bodies because it was saturated with the emotional and or soul of vibrations of the human. The reptoids did not eat cloned bodies, she speculated, because they had not become imbued with soul or emotion substance in the course of living. Okay. Turner also wondered if the oft-mentioned hybrids might not simply be organic fodder used to manufacture the bodies of the zombie-like, carefully regimented greys. Oh my God. I need to cough. There's a commercial. Oh my God.
If you're looking for a publication that delivers honest takes and critical insights into the issues of our day, then look no further than the Flame Paper. The Flame Paper is written for the people, by the people, who aren't afraid to challenge a mainstream narrative, be it healthcare, voter fraud, political correctness, or even the one-world government. The Flame is full of timely articles, reports, and expert advice written by freedom-loving, truth-telling experts, journalists, and concerned citizens. To subscribe, go to theflameusa.com.
No, my wife is not going to get me for saying things like this. She knows me. This is my humor. I've always been this way. I base a lot of my humor off of Sam Kinison, and he was pretty bad. But you know what? Sam Kinison was a pastor. And I think Sam Kinison kind of found, what I found. And I do not believe that Sam Kinison, turned from Christianity. He just found a way to make a living. So, anyway, that's all I have to say about that. All right, so what Turner perceived the deceit and cruelty of the aliens, along with the total lack of reciprocity. Oh my God. In their actions, made her into a human rights activist who insisted that we must stand up for ourselves and seize back our souls from this rapacious non-human species. She speculated that the aliens had developed parallel to us on this earth, then became transdimensional. Yeah, I know you're being silly. It's all good. I don't know what TS means. Tis, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I know you guys are kidding. It's all good. Be happy. All right. To accept a spiritual explanation for the abduction process and the abducting entities, she told an interview for Contact Forum in May and June of 95, is foolhardy and potentially dangerous to our souls. To another interviewer, she reiterated that if we do not rouse ourselves, we may come to the point where we cede the sovereignty of our souls. We should stand up for our souls. I think there is a possibility of finding out how to change the situation. Well, if she read the Bible, she'd know that we are made up of three things: body, soul, and spirit. And they're not after our souls. They're after our spirit. Our soul is our CPU, is our memory, is our computer processing unit. It's the hard drive. And our body is the shell that it comes in. And our spirit is the electricity that flows through the entire thing that makes it work and tells the heart to keep pumping. That's what that is. That's what I believe. So until shortly before her death, Turner regularly issued veritable calls to arms from the podiums of UFO conferences across the U.S. and abroad. That's the reptile sound I make. The aliens, she said time and time again, use their powers to control our perceptions and practice disinformation in order to break down our resistance and deceive us into believing they were interested in our well-being. When they were not. Right. All the evidence, she said, suggested their purposes were totally self-serving and without regard for the needs of Homo sapiens. Now was the time, she insisted, to work at getting back to control. How could this be done, guys? Turner contended the best defense against alien intrusion was not abduction therapy, though that could be helpful, but abduction research itself. To audiences around the country, she listed what she considered to be the only facts that might be construed about the alien invaders. We do not know what they are, with any certainty. At least some of the aliens lie. All of them. During encounters, they control our perceptions. They can implant false memories. What we report about them is what they want us to report. The alien agenda has physical aims and procedures that have nothing to do with reproduction. From childhood, they manipulate us physically, spiritually, and sexually. So they're pedophiles. They create virtual reality scenarios that are absolutely real to abductees. I would agree. And they show an extraordinary interest in human souls, or our spirits, and in our thoughts. Now, there is some element of human involvement in UFO phenomenon. Turner suspected the military sometimes harassed abductees after they had been harassed by the aliens, but the Arkansas researcher did not reveal facts for fear of endangering friends. I think they're connected. I think the military is working with demonic entities. The military is covering up for them, and the military is getting ready to get them to go from spirit to 3D form. And that's how they've got to do. That's how they got to do it. They've got to figure out a way to get those spirits into bodies here so that they can live like they did during the days of Noah. The abductee author insisted the aliens were engaged in a propaganda war to convince us that their designs were more benevolent than we were. They might be creating virtual reality scenarios of crossbreeding, she thought, to suggest that we share commonalities with them and that they need us. But she said there are just as many accounts of, for example, brain operations as there are fetal transplants. In a propaganda campaign that included demonstrating their superiority and their proprietary relationship to us, and in consistently painting a benevolent picture of themselves, they were basically concerned, she had become certain, to debase and lower our self-view and to break down our resistances. Articulately, always with sensitivity, the former college lecturer maintained there were a number of steps abductees could take in the face of alien provocation. All right, guys, before the aliens make love to you alive and after you die, here's how you can educate yourself about the phenomenon and control using knowledge. Let go of your fear. It is through fear that negative entities maintain control. Anger is a more effective defense than fear. Maybe. I don't know about that one. Abductees should be aware of how they're reacting. Just let go. Let them finish. They should learn to step out of themselves and to maintain perspective. Maintain a good quality of life. All right. Be realistic about what can and cannot be done. Stay close to their families. Confide the hell with the results, says Turner. You don't need the burden of carrying this around without being able to talk about it. So confide with others. If the terrors of the abduction experience made us grow stronger, concluded Turner. It was not because the aliens wanted us to have this strength, but because we willed it ourselves. Similarly, she insisted we should take into our own hands this appalling violation of our rights as human beings and fight it with all the resources which we could muster out of the richness of human creativity and experience. This brave and defiant refusal, in the name of humanity, to countenance sufferings from an alien tyrant masquerading as a benefactor is Carla Turner's final legacy. She wrote in John Chambers' UFO magazine, and also here's what is her takeaway from all this. Carla Turner's work definitely confirms these beings masquerade as something they're not in order to fool our perceptions, that they use and manipulate humanity, that they are not benevolent, even though they want to have people think they are, and they are only interested in our emotions, which they probably feed off of it, right? Apparently, one particular race of ETs, reptilians, even physically eat humans because they said he was reptoids, but all right, whatever. Our bodies are saturated with the emotional vibration of the human. Based on the information we have from other sources, we can speculate that other ETs also consume our emotions, but in a different way, without having to physically eat us. My research, about parapsychology, that was mastered by Russia and eventually the United States, makes the government or governments prime suspects. If we remove the alien hypothesis out and point to modern technology that can implant memories. We know the more they dive into the hypnosis of these people, these abductees, that they start to see doctors and military brass standing around them, the victim. I believe the phenomenon can be easily explained by man-made intervention using mind control technology that can implant memories of aliens and remove memories of human abductions. I believe if we are to create an alien-animal hybrid species that we train to be alien to operate our exotic man-made technology seems to be the simplest explanation of all this paranoia. Governments have data going back thousands of years on controlling systems. Ethoses and epochs rarely last any more than 250 to 400 years before the people revolt. The elite, Breakspears or Cines right now, currently are trading family control back and forth every 500 years, or the breaking of the Spears ritual, to trick humanity into their control. But this information is getting out. They need a backup plan, and according to Werner von Braun, on his deathbed, to his assistant, the next boogeyman is going to be asteroids. And when that doesn't work, the final card, that's all they got, is aliens. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. And it's all for control. And I do believe, as of now, that we have the technology to create a fake alien invasion to keep us scared, tax-paying citizens. After all, we live in a bubble sphere underwater, according to the Bible. We can't escape the gold firmament. So the Watchers, or Sons of God, have to create this illusion to keep humanity in control until the conditions are finally met for the coming of the beast. And that's it. God bless you, God thank you, God keep you. I appreciate you guys very much. This has been Cause Before Symptom with your host, James Carner. Tune in tomorrow night where God gives me something else to talk to you guys about. I hope this show was entertaining. I don't think I've laughed that hard in a long time. Holy crap. Alien orgies. Necrophilia. How can you top that joke? I really appreciate you guys, and do me a favor, if you can, use humor if you must, but love your neighbor. If we all loved our neighbor, this world would be a better place. And go to ElitePotion.com, save your life. My stuff works. You will be happy, I promise. God bless. See you tomorrow.